Hello everybody and welcome back to Middle-earth. I've got a little bit of explaining to do. So we are defending an assault at the High Pass stronghold. I did proceed a couple of turns from the last episode in which some things happened. Some things did happen, but it wasn't anything that you haven't seen before, if that makes sense. So we did finally take the High Pass stronghold. You may recall in the previous episode this was down to one turn left before it fell. And so was Foro Drain. So I captured both of those. Those were very small battles, basically the same stuff you've seen in previous episodes. So I didn't feel much of a need to record them. But then I was put under siege by this Beorning host. In response to that, I took my Gundabad army and started marching them down, hoping to draw them out and maybe distract them from taking this, because I am a little worried that we may lose the High Pass. Let's take a look at what we're facing here. Honestly, not much, though. We've got a couple of archer units, and most of it is the typical low-tier woodman units of the Beornings. They've got one unit of Beorning axemen, but it's down to literally 5 men. So hopefully this will be a pretty successful battle. But we are significantly outnumbered. We do have some blunderbusses, so that may help. And then we need to really begin taking the fight to the Beornings. We do not have enough forces in the area to keep doing this. Alright, so they're all coming from here. Ram, ladders, and the siege tower. Now, we don't have a lot. Okay, they got another ladder over here. So it looks like they're going to be pretty much hitting the walls. That tower may want to wrap around to this side. And I don't have a family member anymore, which is really unfortunate. So my captain unit is this Dwarven Warhammers. They are not the sturdiest of Dwarven units, and so that's kind of a problem. We do have some blunderbusses. Let's see. The range is very short, so they're not going to be able to hit these units for a while. And the problem with the siege tower is that it actually shoots at you as it approaches. So we're going to move pretty much all my units away from that side. I don't want them to be in the path of fire. Yeah, this is really all we've got. So let's see. We've got some woodman spears coming up here. I guess there's not a lot to do. Just get our archers up. And kind of hope for the best. Might be better for the blunderbusses to stay down here, and we'll put them in a kind of a box formation at the gate. And I just don't know how to handle the walls here. The ram's definitely going to make it through. Pretty much everything's going to make it through unless we can destroy this tower with our own tower fire, but I don't think we can guarantee that happening. So let's go ahead and keep the general down here near the gate. Let's keep the Dwarves of the Iron Hills down here as well, and then we'll put some of these guys up on the wall because we are going to see some ladders up here. All right, and let's just hope for the best. So we may, they got 14. They're going to make it. Even if they don't make it, another unit's going to come and take their place. So we're throwing at them with our axes as well as the archers. So spears are going to come around from this side. One problem is that they could capture the towers, and the towers could do a lot of damage to me. Looks like these ladders are having trouble getting towards the walls. These men trying to reform. So at this point,
The enemy siege tower has reached the walls. Now we must fight for our women and children.
may want to run these guys around. Since these guys are still having such a hard time getting to the walls, I think they will eventually, but I can have my axemen deal with anyone that wants to come up the siege tower. I think they'll be able to hold out. You know, I should maybe have had these guys back further. Alright, and the ladders are just not making it up. Now, the good news is that if I can hold off this assault, I didn't see a lot of Beorning armies running around in the Vale. So I think that they're under pressure from the south. Adunabar is marching up the Anduin River. I think Rohan did as well and effectively blocked their expansion in that direction. So they've got probably 3 or maybe 4 towns.
The enemy are at the walls. Look to the second line of defenses should the enemy break in.
I'm gonna move these guys now that the ladder is up. The big problem is these horses, and I should have foreseen that. They've got, I guess, 3 cavalry units, and they could overwhelm what I've got here.
Look to the second line of defenses should the enemy break in.
All right. So maybe I'll just try to hold out with these axemen. Axes, bows, axes. Yeah, and let's bring these axemen down to help out. Let's do guard mode for these guys and bring the dwarves to the Iron Hills. So they're doing what the AI does sometimes, which is to wait until the other forces are in place before they start their assault. And we've got a unit of woodman spears that's going to capture the gatehouse. Alright, let's send the axe throwers back up then. Alright, so they're sending another unit. They haven't captured the gateway yet because I do have those mercenary bowmen, but they're going to be cut down.
The enemy have taken the walls. Throw them back, or our people will be slaughtered.
All right, there they go. They've got it. Okay. Alright, they're routing now, and we've captured the gatehouse. That's good. Recaptured it. But here comes everybody, so... Great, they're routing. We get a mass rout, so let's pull out my melee troops. I don't want them getting shot. Alright, that's going to be fine. Biggest concern now is this blob. Alright, so these guys... Everyone's coming through the gate, so we'll send the axe throwers down. Alright, and... Blunderbusses, man. They're in their keep. Okay, so the general's going to stay back, so that's one less cav unit that I have to worry about. didn't lose all of my my bowmen here. Yeah, haven't lost a dwarf. There were 17 when we started, and we got 17, so that's great. We're here. I think we had 39 to start, and we still have 39. Excellent. So now we can bring these guys around since no one else is going to try the siege tower or the ladders. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling a lot better about life. These guys are just routing, or actually, they're not routing. They're getting into the city. All right, we do have to start hitting the cav, which means taking friendly fire. Beorning axemen are gone, but we have lost some of the units here, and I'm thinking that it's because of the blunderbusses. Okay, so last of all, we're going to see the captain come back. Let's get these guys out of here. All right. They're going to try again, but having been routed once, they're going to give up. General's being very hesitant. I think it's because there are some units that have not routed or they've rallied, so he's waiting for absolutely everybody to make it in. Everyone who can. Good stuff. All right, here comes the general's units. Not shooting anymore because there's so many friendlies in the way. Well, there we go. Let's sure, let's continue that battle. See if we can kill a general, but probably not. All right, looks like we did. That was a tower or something. So we'll end it here. Heroic victory. We lost 20 though, and that was mostly among our bowmen. Although we did take some losses here, and it looks like none got healed of the Dwarves of the Iron Hills. Very sad, because those guys are not going to be retrained anytime soon. Now, it's still the AI's turn, so we'll see if the Beornings have another army hidden nearby. Got a small one, but they're not going to try it. And they didn't attack that field army of mine either. Oh, excellent. Coming of age. Foro drain. All right. Well, that's perfect. I needed another general in the area here. He's inept. He's a broad beam. That's kind of cool. +2 to law. So this is only the bonuses. So here, see how he's got +2 to law, +5% income tax collection. There is a negative associated with the broad beam family, and they prefer maintaining order and good relations with their neighbors to waging war. So probably an increase in troop training costs, I think. But he doesn't get that. He only got the good stuff. But he's unwise. So it's just good to have another family member in the area. And I think I'm going to bring him over towards here, where he can be a backup. I was also sending these guys down to this general area out of concern that the Beornings might break through and start getting into my Arnor part of the world. Now, one thing I noticed in Tardal in terms of training that I hadn't noticed before, I can't remember, well, maybe I did and forgot, but Tardal has the horse resource, which means my training options are a little bit different here. This makes this a pretty valuable province. So at Tier 1 Waypost, we're going to get Hireling Spears, But at tier 2, we're going to get bowmen as well as hireling Eriador riders. So this is going to be my first cav unit that I can train, which is great. Now, very steep upkeep cost, 450 a turn. They are basically the same as the mercenary that we could recruit right now. Actually, no, they were back up here, I think. Well, we've got some here. And it is a high upkeep cost. Now, this is a very understrength unit, so the upkeep's going to be lower. I don't know if we have any full units. But, is he a cav unit? Yes, I thought there was one. So 400. So this is actually cheaper than me training my own. But again, the nice thing about it is I don't have to worry about mercenary pool replenishment or anything. I'm just going to get it. So we got Furrow Drain last turn, and surprisingly, looks like we're able to hold it in terms of public order. There's not a lot here in terms of infrastructure. Well, actually, I say that. It's built up to a major province already. But we can't build anything for a little while. I've kept the fiefdom dominion in place because we'd been doing some conquering lately, and I'm still working on dominion buildings in Dunkreok, as well as over east in Tham. So I wanted to wait until at least one of those finished before I started developing Furrow Drain. And also, we have a large Adunabar army right to our west. So far, that hasn't moved. They made no effort to relieve Furrow Drain, but you never know. So I didn't want to dump a bunch of investment into that settlement. So we're bringing these troops south and east over through the High Pass. Now I do have a unit here, an army here. This was the Gundabad army. I recruited a couple woodman mercenary axemen and just set them in there to guard the gates. And I hope to take Oldford. This is their capital. It is a chief city, and it's got a nice high wooden wall. It's not the timber wall, but it is a high wooden wall. The only problem is you can see that my forces are very very weak, very low numbers. So I think instead of pressing the attack right now, I'm going to come back over here just to the west of the High Pass stronghold and regroup a little bit. I may drop off some reinforcements in that fort. Let's see. Keep the Dwarves of the Iron Hills. Oh, so they automatically merged these blunderbusses, so now I've got a larger unit size there. Well, actually, let's keep what I've got in the fort. Let's bring down some more hirelings, and I'm going to send these hirelings over to ultimately be garrison troops. In Rivendell, I can also train. I'm a little worried that Tharbad is going to make a move. But there's not a lot I can do about that anyway. I'll have troops in the area if they decide to cause problems. So I'll get all these guys together, we'll consolidate, and then we will proceed with our invasion here. So as you can see, Adunabar is moving up into the north, and they are gobbling up some of these Rohan captures, like Langwyke. So that leaves the Beornings just these 3 settlements in the area. And they also have Holt, which is far to the east. And that's it. So Rovanion has done pretty well, but there's otherwise a pretty even balance of power in this part of the world. But Adunabar looks to be upsetting that, and so hopefully do I. I've been given a reprieve around Dunkreok. Dunland has not attacked me since. Instead, they're apparently content to fortify their borders and probably their training. They've conquered down here. I've made some scouts to keep an eye on things, but it doesn't look like they have anything that's coming my way. So this is all very good stuff. 3 more turns, and I will have this built. Let's see. And I can retrain the blunderbusses, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then send them over to Dunkreok. And in the east, we had also recruited some scouts and sent them up to investigate. So Rune, they're gathering at the borders. I'm not sure if they're going to actually assault. This army looks like it's aimed away. So does this one. And if we take a look at the broader holdings of Rune, they're pretty limited. They have these two cities, Adel and I believe this one is Amrondor. They have not conquered anywhere south or to the west of their initial starting points. In fact, Khand has actually just lost this. I'm not sure if Khand has any other settlements. Let's take a look. They're still around, I think. They still exist. But they're at war with Harad, so this is pretty intimidating. Harad has not only invaded into Gondor pretty effectively. They've taken Lasarnak, and this does look like it's going to rebel, but they've got a huge army headed down to Pelargir, and again, I don't see anything that's going to stop them other than rebellion. And that's not going to stop them in the long run. You can see they've already recaptured this, and yeah, they are at war with Rohan, so I don't see any reason they won't continue to press up through here eventually. They're allied with the Dunabar, so they're probably not going to head up into the north. We probably won't see them, at least for a long time, if they manage to get all the way up through here. But actually, we're only one province away from them, with Tham and then Adel, and then the next one is owned by Harad. So Khand is very close to either being eliminated or turned into a horde if they're not a horde already. So I do want to get a scout down here. See what we've got. Okay, so Central Khand has rebelled. Once Harad conquers into this part of the world, you do tend to see them reach basically the limit of their expansion. So possibly Khand has one more settlement. If not, there may be a horde running loose around this area. And so Rune is kind of separated from itself. They've got two cities here that are completely isolated from their others. They've got one settlement here that's fairly weak, I would say. And they've got a couple here. Now, their holdings, I'm not sure what they own up in the north. I know North Rune is still kicking around here, but Rune may have one or two or three settlements over here. So 14,000 left to spend. But not a lot to spend it on. At least nothing that I'm too eager to spend it on just now. Long-term goals here would be... Sure, let's go for the construction there. Long-term goals would be to get a protectorate, possibly out of Dunland. I would like to get Dunhold for myself, and then that leaves them with 3 settlements. That might be enough for me to get them down to protectorate status, because it would be great to have them as a bit of a buffer between me and Tharbad in our inevitable war. Okay. And Ettendale, let's go ahead and do some building here. We've got 6,700. I think we may want to go with roads. It's going to cost money, but it will help with shuttling troops around. Very small Dunland army, or Beorning army, rather. Beornings are allied with North Rune. We've been neutral and I think trading with North Rune for a very long time. I'm not too worried about them. They seem to be pretty passive in this campaign. Probably because they're isolated from their other settlements. So Last Bridge and Tardal. Let's go to Last Bridge first, just because this seems very important. So I'll go ahead and go with the way station. That'll get us trainable bowmen. We get a flash flood over here. Oh, interesting. All right, nothing came of it though. It doesn't affect us. It doesn't really affect anybody else either. Alright, getting close to... well, we got 4 turns for the Outland Dominion here. I think 2 for the other one. Let's go around and see if we can find any settlements of Khand. I wonder if they own some land in the desert here. I've not been notified of a Horde faction, but maybe that will only happen if I get them on my territory. Alright, well, let's bring these guys down together. And we'll continue to work on getting them shuttled over to the east. How many turns do we have left at Dunkriok? Just 2. Well, I think this makes a decent enough spot for us to stop for this episode. So thank you once again for watching, everybody, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Take care.